start identifying really the same schools. Every single one of your kids is going to identify the same, probably top 5. Okay? And it goes back to what I said earlier. We're only recruiting 6 to 8. And in most cases, especially for me, I'm at a private school, which means my tuition costs the same for a kid that lives across the street as the same kid that lives 3,000 miles away in New York. It's the same tuition doesn't matter. So my area that I get to recruit is infinite. Doesn't matter where they're from. If they're good and we like them and we can make it work, sweet, awesome. We got a done deal there. Or maybe like a state school. Okay, their money goes further if they're recruiting kids within the state, so to speak. So your son has to be proactive and understand that it's probably not going to be Cal State Fullerton or Florida or some of these places. It might not be there. It might not. So because of that, I have to have a bigger list of schools that I'm going to start communicating with. And again, we can't go everywhere. Okay, we don't get out everywhere. My recruiting budget looks like this. Okay, like I told you guys earlier, there's a kid from Tampa, Florida that's calling me, telling me I gotta come see him this weekend. Good luck, buddy. I hope you do well this weekend. I'm just not going to get out there. It's just not going to happen. And so they have to communicate just as much as we communicate back with them throughout this process. Communication is extremely important. One of the biggest things that your son's going to find if he wants to be that guy. Because statistically, depending upon what level you look at, anywhere from 6 to 10% of all high school seniors will actually play college baseball. Which means 90% of high school seniors are done after this year. So how do you make yourself one of those 6 to 10% guys? You have to be proactive. You have to communicate. You have to identify. You have to start doing these things. And whether your son's a 2017 grad, which is this year, it's the senior year, or if your son's a 2019 grad, it's never too early to start. It's never too late to start either. So please understand that as well. But your son has to start communicating. It has to happen. When he's writing those emails, okay, this is where you guys come back in. Please proofread them. Okay, please do that. I'll give you an example. Dear Coach Fox, yes. Dear Coach Fox, really big part of Chapman University. Really think the school will be good, yada yada. Coach Vance, I really like Coach Vance. Wait, I'm Coach Fox up here.
Oh my gosh.
Which one should I be? Should I be the guy from Concordia, Portland, or should I be the guy from Chapman University? I don't know. I'm some top people. That happens. That happens. That's not a crazy story right there. That literally happens. If not once, twice, maybe 4 times a week, as far as emails that I get from kids. Okay. So make sure that they're being personal with what they're sending, and also make sure that you guys proofread these things. Make them do it, right? Make them type it, make them write it. If you want to make a phone call, say, hey, listen, I'm the answer machine. Tell me, what are you going to tell in my ear right now? What's that answer machine going to sound like? And have them do those things with you, but then make sure they're the ones, again, typing, hitting send, making that phone call, getting, okay, we're good. Because if they're the ones doing it, again, it comes back to us as saying they're invested in our program, potentially. And so we want to make sure that we then reach back out to them and say, yeah, sure, let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Okay. Due to certain NCAA restrictions, quiet periods, dead periods, yada, yada, okay? There's going to be times where your son's going to send out information to a school at a certain level, and he won't get anything back in return. That does not necessarily mean it's a no. That does not necessarily mean it's a no. It doesn't mean it's a yes, okay? But some of these schools cannot reply during a dead period. They can't get in touch with you. They might look at a video and go, oh man, this is it. This is the kid. We want this kid. He's perfect for us. We need him. We want him. And then all of a sudden, it's 3 weeks later, and I can finally call him. And he maybe has moved on because he thinks that we don't like him. Okay? So understand that there are dead periods to where schools can't contact you back. And so that's okay if after 2 weeks you haven't heard anything. That doesn't mean it's a no. Typically what I'll tell a kid is after 4 weeks, if he hasn't heard anything then, send it out a second time. And then give it another 2 to 3 weeks after that. If after 8 weeks have gone by and there's been no response at all, it probably does mean it's a no at that point. It's probably time to move on now, okay? Because we probably passed that dead period window somewhere in there. And they can now start contacting, and they just don't like what they see, don't like what they heard, whatever the case might be. Their roster might be full of that position, whatever it is. They don't have to reply. Okay, that's one of the things that I really truly hate this, but we're all different people. And so I might respond to a kid, even though it's a no, I'll probably still respond to the kid saying, hey, appreciate your interest. You know what? Probably not going to be a good fit here. Some schools, coaches, they don't even bother. They just delete it and move on to something else. So that's the unfortunate side of things, is that we don't all communicate the same way. So I'll apologize for any of us moving forward. If we don't get back in touch with your son, it's not because we don't like to be personal. It's probably because we're just lazy in certain cases. It's unfortunate, but that's the nature of the beast. But anyways, it's that constant communication, that constant proactiveness, and having a good list of schools that's going to make this a successful venture for your son as he moves forward and finding that right fit. And that statistic's not, that's true. 90%, at least 90% of all high school students will not play baseball next year. So make sure that your son is being proactive and preparing himself so that way he can be that minority that moves on to the next level. Okay? And by meaning next level, it doesn't matter if it's Division 1, 2, 3, NAIA, JC. If you go onto the MLB website, and you actually truly look at who got drafted that year, every level gets drafted. Okay? It's not the Division 1 SEC only draft, and 50 rounds of that go by, and those are the only guys that are picked. Okay? Guys are picked from all over the place. So understand that if your son is in the right spot, he'll develop the way that he's supposed to develop, and he'll get seen the way he's supposed to get seen. And then if it's really truly in the cards for him at that point in time, he'll move on to the next level. He will. But if he gets to a position where, you know what, I'm just going to be a bench guy for 4 years, I've yet to see a major league scout draft a bench guy that was on the bench for 4 years. I've yet to identify anybody that's ever done that. So make sure that your son feels that he can be a productive person for 4 years and develop the way he wants to. And if that's still a dream, that he's able to realize it. And again, levels are levels. Don't understand a lot of us sometimes get too caught up in the status of life and keeping up with the Joneses, all that kind of fun stuff. Speaking from a guy that played at all 3 levels, actually, it doesn't matter. It really truly doesn't matter. What matters is that your son is in the right place. And if that's what happens, your son's good. He'll be just fine. Okay. That being said, that's kind of the end of my spiel. Are there any questions, yes sir, that I can answer?
Do most colleges, I know verbal commit's a big deal. I know that's
Yes, sir.
big. And I kind of like want you to speak to that, but I also have a question of, do most colleges have their teams kind of penciled in for the next couple of years already? And a lot of times they have, they got, like you said, they got seven catchers,
Sure.
and they know that they're going to have, so.
A lot of it, for certain programs, yeah. Certain
So, like,
programs will have their 18s done. They've had them all verbal at this point.
At this point.
And here's the hard part, because I told you 6 to 8, right?
Right.
Okay, you look at November, come a couple weeks from now is the early signing period for Division 1. And what you'll see is that these schools sign 4 guys, 5 guys. I guarantee you, double that, probably verbal. But only 5 or 6 of them actually got to sign on the dotted line in November. Because typically what happens, this is what really is screwy about the way that things just kind of work nowadays. Certain programs will get 20 guys to verbal. They just will. We'll get 20 2018s of verbal, and we'll just keep track of them. We'll keep track on how they progress throughout the course of this year and into the summer, And by September, we want to make sure that we've identified which of those 20 we're really truly going to give that offer sheet to.
So you kind of overbook.
They do.
They
No
overbook.
doubt about it.
It's overbook.
No doubt about it. And so not all of them do that.
Yeah.
I'll say this because that would be unfair to quite a few of the guys, even these guys over here on the other side of this room. Not all of them do that, but certain ones, and it's typically the big courses out there. If you look at the top 5 conferences, the big 5 conferences, the SECs, the World, Pac-12s, all that fun stuff. Those are the ones that typically do those things. So when a guy verbals, your son verbals, that's not a signed deal. Okay? All your son's doing at that point in time is saying that, I don't know really how to even describe this. It's basically like, hey, you know what? I know this is going to be a good fit. They think I can be a good fit here, but I still have to do the work. I still have to put in the time, still have to do the work. I can't put myself on cruise control just because I'm verbal 2 years ahead of time. Okay? Because those are the ones that they're trying to find. They're trying to figure out if your son's going to put himself in just this cruise control mentality and just not get any better. Because if he's that guy, then he's also the guy that's probably going to be the same person when they're on the field for their program. So they're going to go, well, shoot, really, how driven is he? How driven of a player is he that all of a sudden we give him something and he's just, all right, sweet, I'll kick back and relax now. So your son can verbal all he wants. That's great. That's fine. That's fantastic. Good for him. Just understand that it's not a signed deal. There's nothing that was signed, so there's nothing binding at that point in time. Not until he actually gets that letter with his signature required. And there's a percentage there, and a percentage here, and a total cost of attendance there, and a please sign this here. Now you're bound to whatever you're signing. But until that point happens, you can verbal, that's great. But make sure that he still puts in the time and the work to make that a realization as opposed to a potential downfall later on in life.
So do you think most of your colleges that you talk to, coaches and whatever, they've already got their 2018s?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily. Just thinking about these gentlemen over here, none of them actually. I would think maybe one might have 2018 sewn up, but again, I wouldn't want to say that because I don't know, I'm not there on the ground level. All the other ones for sure I know don't. There would just be one that I would think maybe at this one time. But who knows? You know, there's a lot of things that can happen between now and then too.
Hey, following up on those verbals.
Yes, sir.
So, if you were to do a verbal, then what does that do as far as your recruiting with other schools? Does that give other schools the idea that they don't really have interest in that guy now because he's given a verbal to a particular school?
And that's the downfall of it. Yes, sir. So there's your trickle effect. So I go to an event, I like the kid. Okay, this guy's a perfect fit for us. Okay, he's gonna be a perfect fit for probably a lot of schools, but perfect fit for us. I go and talk to the coach, whether it's a high school coach, travel ball coach, scout ball coach, who cares? I talk to him, hey, what's the story on this kid? He's already verbal to wherever. At that point, I have to wait till after November. Because once November comes and goes, and if I don't see his name on that website for that particular school as saying, hey, I signed my NLI then, maybe I might reach out again. Now, I'm not, there's a gentlemanly agreement with a lot of these things, unfortunately. So, if I see a kid in September that's verbal, I won't say anything to the kid at that point. I won't say a word at all. And then come November, if I see nothing's happened, typically what I'll do is instead of contacting the kid initially, I'll contact that school. Hey, what happened? Why, you know, I know he verbal to you guys, what happened? You know, this fell through, that fell through, his grades didn't come back, whatever. We just couldn't get him admitted, you know, whatever it might be. We had to pull a scholarship. Or we had to pull
This
whatever.
is November of the junior year though, right?
No, November senior year.
Senior year.
Okay.
Senior year, yes, sir. So if your son's a 17 right now, you're seeing all the 17s, they'll be signing here come November. And so that kid then, I'll call that institution, ask the scenario. If I get back from them like, hey, yeah, he's kind of open, then I'll make contact. I'll send out information, see what I get back. see what your son says as far as what he's looking to do, and go from there. So it's a gentlemanly agreement initially with that verbal, and we do walk away because of it. But we also, if it's really a kid that we like, we'll also keep tabs on that, because I'll write down, hey, so-and-so, verbal to this school, and I'll keep that note handy. And then come November, I'll look at all of those guys and start going, okay, who really truly did, and then contact the schools from there. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Anything else? Any other questions I can answer? Yes, sir.
Along those lines again, the verbal and all that.
Yes, sir.
So, if your son's been contacted and by a couple schools and interested in both, but he's not gonna make a decision until after early action comes out, which is mid-December. After that comes out and he makes his decision, does he go back to the school and say, yeah, I want to do it? To a letter.
Sure. Sure. Yes. Okay.
The letters don't stop you.
No, so the NLIs will stop at a certain point in time in November, and then if it's any other institution, other than a Division I, really, is what it is, they can sign letters at that point in time. Division I's can then sign guys again in April. So there will be a lull for Division I schools from mid-November, once that early signing period's done, until April, when they can start signing guys again. And then April goes all the way through the summer. So
T3.
D3s, no, nothing D3 wise. NAIAs, none of those schools are affected by that. So, just Division I have that.
Can you clarify the contact restriction rules from coaches, like 2019? Can you contact them until junior year? What's the
It just
time?
depends. It depends. It depends on which level institution you're trying to contact. It's a Division I program. They have to, and it has to be certain coaches, right? So at Division I, if they are a paid assistant, they can then make contact with the kid. As a volunteer coach, they can talk to a kid at an event. That's great, but then they're out of the equation. So it just depends upon what level you're trying to contact and what parameters they have moving forward. So for me, as a Division III school, for example, any kid at any stage in their life can contact me directly, and I can contact them right back. But if, let's just say your son's a 2019, okay? If I see him and like him, but it's not at something like this, let's just say it's at a random tournament, okay, that I happen to go and watch him play, or at a high school game, that I go and watch him play, I can get his contact information, but I have to wait to send that information out until a certain time has lapsed. And now he is starting the summer going into his junior year. At that point, I can actually send out an initial contact. But if he contacts me before that, I can respond. That part's legal. NCAA says you're good there because they made the initial contact. But that's for my level. So again, it just kind of depends upon what you get back and how quickly you can get it back.
Thank you.
No worries. Yes,
Is
sir.
it August of going into their junior year? Is that?
Once it's July 5th, July 6th, when we can start doing that.
Just to clarify, Division I school, when they do that, to make initial contact, has to wait until the summer.
No, he doesn't have to. He can make contact whenever he wants. It's
Yeah.
whether or not they can contact him back. I don't know the exact parameters for 19. I know in 18 they can contact him right now, not a problem. For 19, I'd have to verify what that is. But as far as yeah, I have to verify that one for off the top of my head, I couldn't. Any other questions that I can answer for you guys? Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any issue, or do you guys do where, I know a lot of kids may not want to go to a D1 or D2, or they want to go to JC for a couple years.
Sure.
Get stronger, get better, play
Sure.
for baseball, but then at that point, they only go to 2 year, and do you guys still recruit at that point?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Every level, every 4-year program will recruit a JC kid.
Okay,
So it just depends upon how heavily.
right.
So I'll say this, majority of big Division I schools are gonna probably go high school route, okay? Majority of Division III schools, because they're more heavy on the academics, are probably gonna go high school route, because those kids have identified that they wanna make sure that they're also at a high academic institution as well. Ivy Leagues, same kind of deal there. Mid-level Division I, and even big Division Is, and even us at Division III, we'll all recruit JCs at some point. Division II will probably recruit a little more heavily there. NEI will probably recruit a little more heavily there. Mid-level D1s and lower will probably recruit a little more heavily there. But you'll still see our end, and you'll still see big D1s do it as well, just maybe not as much. But no, we definitely, and I coached at a JC prior to my time at Chapman. I coached at a JC in Mission Viejo for 7 years. And yes, every level and every status of level, I guess you could say, we're recruiting our guys. So it does happen. Okay, thank you, sir. Perfect. I got time for one more question, then I'll finalize everything. Is there anybody? No, you all feel pretty good? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
It's more about the gentlemanly way that
Yes.
you answer. And it doesn't seem very gentlemanly unless, I'm really like a stickler about it.
Sure.
So there's a gentlemanly approach, but the gentleman doesn't have to respond, you know what I mean?
Sure.
It's kind of goofy.
Sure.
And like you said, not everybody communicates, so then do the guys know this? They don't.
No.
Because the guys think, oh, they were nice to me, they're gonna call me. I mean, I hear a lot of these, like, seniors, juniors, and seniors in my house, all these guys talking
Sure.
about it. And their team, none of them know that this is the way it is.
Sure.
They think that they like them and they're gonna call them back, and if they don't, there's rejection, right?
Sure. Well,
So it's just-
rejection's gonna happen.
But no, the gentlemanly, like,
Sure.
no, sorry, we're not interested, there's a job.
Sure.
That's-
Here's the
I
unfortunate
know,
thing.
and I know what you said earlier, it's just a comment.
Sure.
Just because I see kids that don't have a clue.
Sure. No, and I was in those shoes not that
Yeah.
long ago.
Yeah.
And I was being recruited by several different institutions, some more heavily than others. And I think that's what your son's gonna eventually, all of your sons are gonna eventually find out, that if there's really genuinely, like, big time interest, trust me, there's guys that I'm on the phone with weekly.
Yeah.
Just saying hi even. I mean, just something as simple as that. I'm even just saying hi, because we want them. We want them as part of our program. And so your sons will start to pick up on that a little bit and go, man, I haven't heard from this school in a month. I wonder why. Whether or not it's a quiet period and they can't, or whether or not they're not that interested, you're more of a fallback plan maybe potentially, could be the case too. And the unfortunate thing is just like all of us, we all have different personalities, we all go about our business in different ways. I can't expect a player to treat me the same way that I would treat them even. You know what I mean? Like, I can't expect that
Different
because.
realities.
Exactly, exactly. So,
It's just a pretty
it's
naive.
tough.
I know.
It's
Yeah.
tough on both ends because there are guys that I know that are terrible people, and they do silly things to other programs, and it blows my mind that they're still employed. But that's
And
just
then
the
there's
way.
people that are great coaches and the worst communicators
Sure.
on the planet.
Sure,
I know
exactly.
some of those, and I know his heart's in the right place. You would not know it, but I know it is, because I know him.
Sure.
But nobody else knows it, you know what I
Sure.
mean? So it's.
No doubt, and it's tough, and so that's, I think, the biggest thing is communication. If communication is constant, then I think you're gonna find really truly what interest level there is with that particular institution. All right, so we're basically done with camp out there. So what we'll do, all of you guys will come on out to that main field, okay, that main big field over there. I'll do some parting words for your sons and for you guys as well. We'll do the one-on-one evaluations at that point in time, and then we'll be done with camp, okay? Awesome, thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.